Hello people! This week's video will be a lot different than my usual content. I didn't tell you that I'm also a volunteer firefighter. I wasn't active for about 3 years now. My kids were small and I was building our home. However, a massive forest fire broke out about a week ago. I called my group if they needed any help. The commander quickly checked if my health certificate was still valid, and the day after I was called in for a night shift. The video is not about the bigger picture. There were 2 major fires with multiple different locations. This video is about 6 people out of 900 present out that night on the ground. And this was our night shift. The day before I checked my gear. Everything was in its place. On the day of the intervention, the smoke was visible even from my town, which is around 30 kilometers from the fire. We also took the radio stations from the charging shells. As you can see, it's mostly empty. That means that a lot of colleagues are outside. Being outside is our term for being on an intervention. While we were waiting to go, people were bringing water for the firefighters as donations. After some time, they started to bring all kind of beverages because there was no more bottled water in the stores. Thank you, people. So the van was ready, and so was I. Time to go.
Eno vozilo 5 gasilcev na intervencijo v Brestovico.
Here you can see what kind of forest we are talking about. It is basically impassable, and here the terrain is plain. Imagine this wood on a steep hill. Our first task was to take over the fire truck from our colleagues of the day shift. The commanders quickly talked about what was happening and what our assignment was. We quickly made a group photo of the night shift and we started. Here you can see our first objective. The distance was about 7 minutes walk down the mountain, no road of course from the truck. Our colleagues stopped the fire here, and our task was to flood the edge with water so the fire couldn't return here. Here you can see the yellow hose, which was ours, connected to another hose from God knows where. But in this case, a hose is a hose, and if it holds, you can and should use it. The thing is simple. Flood the terrain going up towards the truck. Close the water, disconnect one hose, open the water and go on. Rub the disconnected hose and bring it up to the truck. During the process, we discovered a giant pine tree that was burning inside. We quickly decided that the best thing to do was to cut it down. During the process, the pine's weight blocked the motor saw. We took a rope, which of course was uphill in the truck, linked it to the tree, and 5 people pulled the tree down. Imagine doing this at midnight in the dark on a mountain slope. Nice. When we finished the flooding process, we returned to the truck. While we were waiting for the next assignment, a colleague who knows the place drew a map of the current situation. Of course, we have maps and Google Maps, but all the tiny roads aren't there. Our next task was to make a controlled fire to make some burnt ground, so when the real fire comes, there is nothing to feed it. Those things are usually done on roads. A fire truck with a crew is placed every 50 meters, if you have them, and the problem is that you must start a fire, but this fire should not go behind your back, so it should not cross the road. Luckily, the wind was working with us, and the smoke and the heat were blown away from us. At night, we don't go into the woods if it's not absolutely necessary. First, it is dangerous by itself, and second, this place was a battlefield in World War I and it is full of unexploded grenades. Here I am taking a break, with a view, and what a view! All this is a controlled fire. Everything was planned and went well. You can imagine how things looks when something goes out of control. And here the morning was starting. Good morning, my ass, or what should I say? The morning came and here we are waiting for the dismissal command. As you see, the people are exhausted, and I can say that it was a relatively easy shift. We were waiting for the helicopter to arrive to examine the situation. A last group photo and home we went. It was nice to meet old friends after years. There are feelings that are hard to describe if you haven't tried something like this. Thanks to all the firefighters from all across Slovenia. 35 square kilometers of woods burned out, but we stopped him. Not this night, but some days later. Thank you for watching, be safe.